Hello and welcome. We are in Daytona once again, but this time for the season opener in the Great Lake Truck Series here live on Split Second Broadcasting. Hello, everyone. I'm here with our very special guest, driver and analyst, Elliott Henderson. How are you doing today, Elliott?
Good, Kyle. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Another big race at Daytona, so always looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think
Hoping
we'll
to see
see a
action.
lot of good drafting and a lot of good pack racing tonight.
Looking forward to it. Getting ready for 165 miles around Daytona Super Speedway as we're getting set for some heat racing here in a little bit. Excited for the heat racing, Elliott? What do you think we're going to see out there?
And you're going to see a lot of aggression. I think a lot of guys are going to want to start towards the front. You're going to have that 50-50 split of there's going to be a lot of guys that want to start towards the front, but at the same time, you're going to have that strategy of wanting to start at the back. So I think you're going to see some guys play patient, but at the end of the day, the top 20 get in. So there's definitely a shot for people to mix up positions of where they start on the grid tonight.
So, how is that starting lineup going to work for tonight, Elliott?
So basically, Heat 1 is going to set the inside of the field just like they do in real life, and Heat 2 will set the outside. So we've got our full 42 car roster in here, so nobody's going home. We've already run a go or go home queue. These heats are essentially just going to set up the odds and evens of the starting order. So basically, you've got the other deal is the front row gets locked here. So right now, Matt Daniels and DJ Stagner stand to sit atop the boards, and DJ and Sam actually tied for second. So that's kind of painful for Sam to miss out on that. And these guys will go into the heats. Anywhere you finish is where you start essentially. So Sam could go from a third place starting spot all the way back to 41st place starting spot if he doesn't run well enough tonight in that first heat race. So we'll see how they shake out, but no one is going home on the positive side.
Definitely a lot of good racing to look forward to, at least. And yeah, no one gets to go home, so at least everyone still gets to be in the race. And it's Daytona. I personally like to start at the back, so that would actually work out for me, just chilling in the back in the heat.
Yeah, I think that is typically the best strategy to have because it's going to get pretty dicey up there. But lo and behold, we'll still see some exciting action from the guys that don't want to start at the back. And those guys that, didn't put a Q lap in probably want to get up there and see what they can do in the heat because they'll get a reset regardless. Whatever happens in the heat, they're going to start the race with a fresh truck. It doesn't really matter. So worst case scenario, you take a bad starting spot from qualifying and you make it a bad starting spot through the heat. But we'll see what these guys want to do in the heat, and we'll see who wants to go up to the front and who wants to just sit at the back.
Definitely saw a lot of action Thursday night here at Daytona. A lot of drama late in the race with these Great Lakes drivers. Wondering if any of that might carry over to this Tuesday. And I see that they're beginning to grid for heat number one as some drivers are on the radio. In row number one, we're going to have Samuel Hoff and Trent Curtis.
And in row 2, you'll have Eric Kepf and Gabriel Truesdale.
In row number 3, you have Ross Brockham on the inside. And then last week's surprise preseason winner of Aiden DuPont.
And the next row back here between Ty Smith and Jake Miller is going to be one to watch. Ty is usually very fast, and Jake is your runner-up to last season's points.
Then on the next row, we have Brian Mayhew. Interested to see how he does out there. And then Shane Nicewanger, is that how you say his name?
Yep, Shane Nicewanger, another split-second driver, teammate to Jake Miller. Next row will feature Justin Benda and Dave Nestor making his Truck Series return here.
Then on the next row, we have Frederick Cremens and Christopher Huerta.
Followed by Cole Bradley starting in 15th and Michael Sensi starting in 16th.
Then we have Josh Cottle and RJ Williams on the next row.
followed by Ashton Lawson in 19th and Adolfo Delgado in 20th. Just something to point out that drivers Cottle, Williams, and Lawson, all there at the back, are cup drivers for the Great Lakes Series. So their points don't count, so they're just here for the win.
Nothing's more important than winning, even if you're going for points. Especially here at Daytona, you can either get a lot of points, you can lose a lot of points. It's a wild card here in Daytona, and it looks like the pace car might be going 2 times around instead of the normal 1 time around here at Daytona.
Yeah, I think they're going to give us some stuff to talk about, but they may just be trying to help Sam's connection out. You notice that he's blinking a good bit there at the front, but hopefully that'll work out. And I think something to focus on tonight is the fact that you have some really fast guys in this field. Eric Kepf, known for really good super speedway racing and always being there at the end. Jake Miller is a guy that typically isn't as fast on the super speedways, but always finds himself up towards the front in pretty much any event that the Great Lakes Series runs. And special shout out to Gabriel Truesdale, who's new to the league. He's going to be starting outside of that second row there. I'm interested to see what he can do tonight because he's been really excited for this race. Really looking forward to this season. He's running a part-time schedule and starting 4th right now in this heat is a good way to get that weekend going.
Me personally, I'm sticking with Aiden DuPont. I did count him out of the other night's race. He was way in the back, got in an accident. I didn't count him out. I stuck with him, and he came back and won the race some way, somehow. And I think he's going to get it done again tonight. I'm not sure about this heat race here. Might try to take it a little easy. Not sure what his strategy might be. But when we get down to that big race, I think he's going to be one to watch. Eric Kep for sure as well. You mentioned him before. He is fantastic at the super speedway racing.
Yeah, I know Aiden liked to stay up towards the front, so I'll be interested to see if he tries to keep Gabe up there and get all of those guys, try to keep himself up there using some of these other guys as picks and draft partners and maybe start up towards the front a little bit better than where he's looking right now. I think he was slotted about 12th because he's starting 6th here. I guess that makes him 11th, but maybe he can better his starting position and try to keep himself up towards the front in the main show.
Here they come off turn 4. Gonna get the green flag this time around here in Daytona for heat number 1 for the season opener. Pace car pulls off. Sable Hoff is gonna lead them to the green flag in that 17 Chevrolet, and the green flag is out here in Daytona. '17 gets off to a good start. 51 still on his high side. Trent Curtis fighting hard up there. Got no help from behind. This is a 10-lap shootout, by the way. I don't know if that was mentioned before. Eric Kepf jumps to the high side, looking to get to the lead. 17 got no help after Kepf leaving him alone.
Yeah, the outside's definitely more organized. Eric falls to the bottom, and it looks like I think that outside's going to prevail pretty often here, but we'll have to see how it goes. But Eric to the lead.
Eric Kepf is now your race leader on the inside, and that leaves Trent Curtis as the leader on the outside. A lot of guys have jumped low. You only have 6 guys up there right now. The 51s begin to fall back. Wondering if the 17 might make a move to the high side.
Yeah, it looks like they're all going to take it pretty easy here. They know it's a 10-lap stint, but they all know that they want to make it into the show and make it with a good starting spot. So I think a lot of these guys are just going to run mid-pack and kind of feel it out. But you got Ty Smith to the outside now, and he looks like he wants to try to make a run on Ross Brockman for 3rd.
I really like those yellow numbers on that 18 as he leads the high side. It looks like you got the number 94. Where'd 94 come from? Oh, and the 18 is in the wall. Not sure if that was net code, but he keeps it going, and we stay green.
It looked like Benda caught the apron and came up off the track, off the bottom of the track a little bit, went up into Ty, and Ty had nowhere to go. They're wrecking at the back a little bit. They saved it.
Looks like the 51 is around. 51 was up in the front not too long ago. Trent Curtis.
Yeah, both Brian Mayhew and Trent Curtis got hurt in that one.
In front of this pack has singled out for now. Still got 8 laps to go here in heat number 1 of 2. Keff leading the field. Samuel Hoff was pushing him hard in 3 and 4. I'm going to try to get a replay for you. And here's your replay. It looked like to me the 51 just came up. Just came straight up.
Yeah,
too bad for the 88 getting involved in that. Had nowhere to go.
Not very ideal. It looks like they just kind of went 3 wide, and Dave Nestor and Brian Mayhew just caught each other there at a bad moment.
It's only the heat race. You have a whole nother race. Still very early in the night here in Daytona. Eric kept leading the field still as all this is going on.
Yeah, you can see that initial contact with Ty that put him up in the outside wall, but we're back to the action. You got Jake Miller, Justin Benda, and Aiden DuPont trying that outside line. They're not really getting anywhere, it seems, because there's just not enough trucks up there. And Eric Kep is doing exactly what he wants, just sitting out front, leading all these laps, and hopefully putting himself in the show to start third.
Sam was giving him a big push through the tri-oval there, and he now jumps to the high side in front of the number 4. And Samuel Hoff is now going to take the lead in the pack with help from the number 4 of Jake Miller.
Yeah, that push that Jake gave was insane. Eric drops to the bottom. He doesn't want any part of it.
They both jump to the inside and leave DuPont and Benda all by themselves.
So I got Frederick Cremines back here. He's a Cup guy, or he was a Cup guy. He's running truck full time this season, but he was very fast last season in the Cup Series that we ran in Great Lakes. And Jake Miller to the outside of Sam. Now we've got a battle for this heat win. Everyone wants it now.
5 laps to go. Daytona Beach. Samuel Hoff and the number 4 of Jake Miller going at it. The 94 of Justin Benda and the number 52 of Ross Brockham right behind both of them.
It's going to come down to who gets the better push. It looks like Justin got the run off the corner. He's going to get to the back of Jake and push him down the backstretch. Ross can't get glued to the 17. Jake and Justin may clear them here.
Looks like the 4 is going to stay up with the number 94 of Justin Benda. Looks like he was thinking about cutting down low. And number 17 of Samuel Hoff is going to have a nose coming off the corner, but he has no one right behind him.
Yeah, I think that outside line is definitely where you want to be right now with only 3 trucks hooked on the bottom. Here comes Eric Kep back into the picture, but you've got all 4 of those guys on the outside. Benda leaves. Jake Miller goes to the inside. That'll move DuPont up behind Jake Miller. And Justin Benda going for the lead.
Major Mellon now running the inside line. Justin Benda now leads the field here in heat number 1 with 4 laps to go. Samuel Hoff right on his tail in at number 17.
It's amazing how 2 trucks can push out to a bit of a lead, but that'll only allow Ross Brockman, Cole Bradley, Jake Miller, and all these guys back here to jump back on them as soon as they catch some draft. Don't forget, Eric Kev back in this mix. This is a pretty stout group of drivers to go for this heat win.
Samuel Hoff is all over his bumper coming through the tri-oval. Real aggressive right there. Aggressive pushing from him. Justin Benda leading this field. Ross Brockham just watching these 2 right behind him, waiting for his time to pounce. Maybe he'll jump to the high side in front of the 4.
The other reminder here is if Benda goes backwards, there's 8 trucks in this group. That takes him from 3rd to 15th starting spot. There's a lot on the line here. You don't want to be in the middle of the pack to start this race. We already saw what 3 wide down in the tri-oval does in this heat race alone. You're going to want to try to get up towards the front and be clear of these guys. They're coming off turn 4 now.
We definitely don't want to start the race in the middle of the pack. That's the eye of the hurricane. You're in Florida. What's going to happen?
Sam Hoff to the outside. He's going to get a push from Jake Miller. They're going to clear Benda. They're coming to 2 to go now. Going back into turn 1.
And here comes DuPont and that double 0. He's came from the back of this pack, and he's now in 3rd place, giving a good push to Jake Miller off of turn 2. With 2 laps to go here in heat number 1 as Eric Kef jumps all the way to the high side, trying to get the lane started. Oh, and the 94 gets a little loose for a second there. Keeps it straight.
They're catching a lap truck too. This may be interesting. That's Brian Mayhew, the guy that was injured back in the early incident. But they're coming to the white flag here. 1 lap to go. Sam ahead of Jake and Justin Benda. Justin Benda and Jake touch doors, and they're going to keep it straight somehow.
Here they come into turn 1. They still going. No accident yet as that close call in the tri-oval had everybody on their feet. The number 17 of Sam going to lead off the corner. But the number 4 of Jake Miller is going to get a huge push from Aiden DuPont.
I think Aiden was behind this time. Here comes Eric to the outside again. He's going to try it. Dave Nestor's not giving him any help back there, though. I think Dave's like, I'm good to just start 17th or wherever this puts me. Justin Benda making more contact with Jake Miller. He can't hold that bottom. They're going to wreck there.
Go. And here they're going to come to the line. Sam. We're going to get a close finish here. And it is Samuel Hoff.
Wow. So Sam starts pole, protects his 3rd place starting spot. Justin Benda comes up just short of it.
And Major Mellon was getting real loose down there on that inside line. Justin Benda a couple times almost lost it. And we're going to get a replay here. Justin Benda loses a little bit on entry and then just comes up in the door almost and then just gets him up in the front nose almost, it looks like. It looks like the 52 of Ross just reacting to the 94 of Justin Benda, maybe just overreacted, causing that incident.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot that Jake Miller could really do there. I mean, Ross was just going to come up the track following Benda. When you're on the bottom, you're following that guy in front of you so intently that, like, if that guy starts to move towards the top, you're going to move towards the top. You really can't do a whole lot when these guys are trying to pinch you down and get a run off the corner. So, unfortunate circumstances there for Jake Miller. I think that would have been a really solid effort on the outside line's point to really come back and combat Sam there. But unfortunately, that's how it ended. Sam will keep 3rd. Justin Benda will start 5th, and we'll get your starting order after our 2nd heat race here.
Beginning to line up on pit road for heat number 2, as we have our pole sitter, Steve McLean, and then on the outside, Lewis Woodall. Sorry if I'm making any of your names sound horrible.
2nd row, I believe it's Matthew Durr and Gavin Fitzgerald.
And the next row, it looks like we have Kyle Hall and Caleb DeSordo.
Next up would be Chuck Kleinhagen? Apologies. And Daniel Nanny, our Cup Series champion.
Next row, we have... Oh, got mixed up here for a second. Connor Holden and Kevin Waltler.
And the next row is going to be Brandon Barkuski starting 11th and teammate Jordan Gonzalez starting 12th.
Then after them, you have William Barbagletta. He was very strong last week in the preseason race. And then you have Michael Levain.
There's one thing we all know about William Barbagletta is that he is going to be one of the most aggressive guys on this track. Watch that green truck. I guarantee you it'll be one to stare at. The next row will be Aaron Duclos in 15th, followed by Brandon Nafel in 16th.
Then rounding out your field, you have Jacob Hayes and James Shiflett.
Don't forget old Curtis Granger there.
Curtis Granger, looking
yeah,
like a left dog back there.
Yep, he's getting there. I think he had to take a little bit of a break, but he's going to line up 18th out of the 19 trucks starting this field.
I think I can.
Well, the first heat did not disappoint. The question for this one is, are we going to get a yellow, or are they going to keep it green as well?
And will that Dogecoin car really go to the moon?
We can only hope. Funny story about the 37 that's starting at the front here. That is a number I used to run. I've won 3 straight championships in this series, and I'm proud to say that it's running first right now. So that's a nice sight to see. Glad Steve McLean can put it up there. Hope he keeps it up there, keeps it clean, and we'll see how he ends up throughout this heat. It's also interesting to see Lewis Woodall up there. We've got a lot of different names up here at the front with Matthew Durr and Gavin Fitzgerald. A lot of these guys are returning guys that ran last season that either started in the middle of last season or ran all of last season. And people like Matthew Durr and Lewis Woodall are definitely ones to watch. But Gavin had a really strong run last season. He ended up, I believe it was 3rd or 4th in points after it was all said and done. One of the strongest runs I've seen out of him in a while. And I look forward to what he's going to do in this full 22 race season here. His 4th full season in the league, and looking forward to what he does with it.
Definitely gonna be keeping my eyes out for that 41 of Matthew Durr. I haven't raced with him in a very long time, but I used to race with him on NASCAR racing season for years. Great super speedway racer. Expect him to go out there and perform, and then also on his outside, keep an eye out for our split second broadcasting partner Gavin Fitzgerald. See how he can do in this second heat as we're coming off of turn 4, and the pace car is going to pull down pit road, and that number 37 is going to lead them to the green flag.
Definitely a sight that I feel most viewers are accustomed with. Glad to see Steve keeping it up there. We'll see if Lewis thought he was maybe going to duck down, but it looks like Durr's going to move up behind Gavin, and they're going to leave Steve McLean out to dry down on the bottom.
And Lewis leading the field here early as Gavin's trying to make a move to the inside in that number 14.
Yeah, Gavin very aggressive here on the start. I think he wants that lead pretty bad. Maybe he just wanted to get to the bottom. I still feel like that outside's where you want to be at the end of the day, but if you get all these trucks stacked up on the inside, the outside's going to be pretty difficult to get going.
Yeah, I noticed that from that first heat. The outside is definitely stronger, but you need to have the vehicles. You need to have the horsepower up there to get moving. As that number 37 and the 87 jump up. Yep, exactly.
They move 2 up there. You're going to watch them come around the outside of Lewis and Gavin, who need to drop back and catch up to, I believe that's the 73 back there. The old turtle wax machine. That is Chuck Kleinigan. And as soon as he catches that draft, you can see how they all work out. They're dead even at the front again. There's a lot of battling going on at the back, almost 3 wide. And the guy in the middle is William Barbagelata, as expected.
You really called that. William making moves back there in that bright green number 27.
Yeah, there's a reason he's in a bright green car, and it's so that he gets your attention, but he doesn't need to do it through the car. He does it through the fact that he's going to be the most aggressive guy out here. I'm excited to see what he does in the real race, but with a 10-lap stint, expect him to try to drive up through the field with a relatively bad starting spot here.
We're still neck and neck up at the front. No one wants to give in as Lewis and Steve are still going hard with Gavin and Kyle Hall right on their bumpers. Kyle Hall, another one to really keep your eye out for. He's been really strong on these super speedway races over the last week here with Great Lakes.
Yeah, almost had a... Oh, we got contact between
Barkowski
and Barb. I don't know what just happened there.
Looked like a big crash on the backstretch, but most of them kept it straight somehow.
I saw Barkowski get shot out, and from there it was an onslaught.
Daniel Manny was somewhere in that mix. We're going to try to get a replay for you here on Split Second Broadcasting. We're going to watch this battle for the lead for now. We got the number 37 still on the high side, pushing hard against Lewis. These guys have not missed a beat. And Gavin's going to try to force it 3 wide, almost looking for a second there as the 13 got a little loose off the corner.
Yeah, that really hurt that lane.
37 is going to jump low, and the 87 of Kyle Hall looks like he's going to keep it high for now. Going to stay in front of the number 41 of Matthew Durr.
Steve trying to make that truck wide. It's going to get him in the sucker hold now. He was going to throw the block on Kyle, but these trucks just, they have way too much speed in the draft that if you try to throw blocks, typically that's exactly what's going to happen. They're just going to spread you out, and Steve will go from the lead back to about 7th here.
And Steve's going to fall to midway in this pack, and the Dogecoin car is in the wall.
He caught the wall pretty hard there. The other interesting thing is Barbagelata, Curtis Granger, and Brandon Barkowski, looking 3 wide on the outside, have all been able to keep up with this pack after being involved in that initial incident there.
I just
So we'll see
noticed
how their
that.
trucks hang on despite that damage.
I don't know how the 27 of William Bargelata. I'm gonna learn how to say his name eventually. I don't know how he stayed with the pack.
I believe maybe Curtis just was able to avoid that without damage, and he's just stuck with him and pushing him back up there. But because Curtis looks pretty clean, it's Brandon's missing a whole door on the passenger side of his truck, and Barb is just a little bit mangled in the front end, and the spoiler's a little bent up back there. But we've got
It's hot out
insane
there.
back here.
They going hard. Kyle Hall leading the field here in Daytona. Matt Durr leading the high side, coming down the backstretch, looking to take the lead away from the number 87. He has an edge coming into 3 and 4.
Yeah, the outside line's built up. We know Barkowski knows how to draft and push really well here, so he's going to be crucial if he's the third or fourth truck in line. With that damage, we'll see if he can do anything, but it looks like he just helped the outside lane around the inside.
And I raced with both of these guys actually on NASCAR racing season in the same server, Steve McLean and Matthew Durr. Maybe for old time's sake, working together a little bit there.
Yeah, it looks like Steve just kind of hung him out, got to the inside of him. He's able to push himself up to the lead with Kyle Hall right behind him again. Kyle seems to be the best pusher out of this group. I think if it's the end of the race, I want the 87 truck behind me because he seems to be able to get his nose there and not come off of your back bumper all the way around the track.
Yeah, I've noticed that with him as well. And he's also not pushing too hard in the wrong places, like a lot of drivers do, getting overly aggressive with the bump draft in the middle of the tri-oval. He tends to take a little step back from that.
The other interesting point is Lewis Woodall is not teammates with Gavin, but they have been driving like they are. They're back here to the outside. Matthew Durr right behind them. We've got a pretty stacked up group of 3 and 3 on the top and the bottom. And then you've got the couple of damaged cars, Chuck and Curtis back there just hanging out behind this group.
Got only 3 laps left here in Daytona. Coming down the backstretch, and Lewis, like you said, Gavin glued to his rear end.
Yeah, Gavin gave a good shot out there.
McLean is out in front, coming off of turn 4. We're coming to 2 laps to go. Kyle Hall right on his bumper.
These guys are definitely a lot more organized than we saw the other pack. There's, I think, a few more of them. I think there was about 7 in the other pack, and it looks like, well, there's really about the same amount. So, I mean, again, Steve McLean could go from, a 4th place starting spot back to about a 16th place starting spot. Kyle to the outside. They're all broken up now. Steve's going to get sucker holed again.
And Connor Holden, I was about to mention him, and all of a sudden now he's in the lead. The number 81, there they all go. They're all wrecked. They all just wrecked. And Connor Holden is in the lead with Matthew Durr and Gavin Fitzgerald right behind him.
There looked like some bad netcode between Chuck and Chuck and Lewis Woodall. And now we've got about a 4-truck race to end this thing out. Coming to the white flag this time by.
And we got your classic 2v2 right here in Daytona as Matthew Durr will leave him to the white flag. And he's going to jump down. Going to jump down right in front of Connor Holden.
Barely clear.
I thought he was going to spin right off his front nose for a second there, Elliott.
I don't think Connor liked that at all. You can see how aggressive he's pushing him now because of how that move was made. And Connor will look to the outside. He's got Curtis with him. Matthews is sitting duck. Gavin's going to go wherever the draft is. And we'll see what these guys do. Gavin's going to go up the inside. Oh, Curtis throws the block. This is insane.
What a block from the number 07 Toyota. Gavin Fitzgerald is pushing that 07 hard. Coming off of turn 4, and he gets sideways. He saves it. And it looks like the number 81 of Connor Holden's going to get the job done in heat number 2.
Wow. Despite only 4 trucks being there, I mean, that was interesting. I think Gavin just was going to push Curtis all the way up into Connor there, and eventually just got him out of whack because when he jumped out, the truck just unsettled really bad, and he got really loose, and that kills all of your momentum. Gave Matthew Durr a shot to get it 3rd at least. But how about that racing as a bunch of those guys went spinning down the backstretch on 2 different occasions?
That was an insane wreck on the backstretch. And we're going to try to get you a replay of that. That was insane. All of a sudden, I looked up and everybody's spinning. Looked like the 37 maybe came off the nose of the number 13. And it looks like we're here. I'm reading in the comments that it was net code. I assume that's Daniel Nanny saying that.
Yeah, wow. Kyle Hall took a hard impact. Yeah, the first glimpse I got of it was Chuck and Lewis got together, and it just seemed like they weren't going to impact each other. So there was definitely some gap between them, and they kind of netcoded, and then it pulled Steven in, and it goes from there. But hopefully we've gotten the fun out with the heats, and now the field is set. We can go through the actual grid order and get this 65 lapper at Daytona underway and see some clean racing.
Yeah, as trucks are beginning to pull on to the racetrack, we finally have our starting lineup for the season opener here in Daytona. Waiting for some of these drivers to get onto the racetrack. And I'm assuming we're going to see 2 pace laps here.
Yep.
I'd just like to take a moment to thank all of y'all for tuning in for this broadcast. A lot of y'all watching right now. I see around 40 something of y'all watching right now as we're about to get going. I appreciate every single one of you. And this is going to be a fun 65 laps here in Daytona for the Great Lakes Truck season opener as they pull out on track. You have your pole sitter, the number 25 of Matt Daniels. And then on his outside, you have the number 64 of DJ Stagner.
Yeah, I can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure Matt Daniels has the best average start on super speedways. Man is an animal at qualifying here. In the second row are your 2 winners from the heats, Samuel Hoff in the 17, and Connor Holden will start 4th.
Row number 3, on your inside, you have the number 94 of Justin Benda. I like to call him Major Mellon because I'm a big fan of that paint scheme right there. And then on the outside, you have the number 07 of Curtis Granger.
And in your next row, you have Cole Bradley racing for 2511 Racing, starting 7th, and Matthew Durr in the 41, starting 8th.
On the next row, it looks like you have not William Barbaghetta, Ross Brockham in the number 52 on the inside, and then Split Second Broadcasting's partner, Gavin Fitzgerald in the number 14. We're going to be cheering him on from the booth.
Aiden DuPont will be starting 11th with William Barbagelata, and I think we're just going to term him Mr. Excitement tonight, starting 12th.
I like that, Mr. Excitement. You got the lightning bolts on there and everything. He's going to be exciting to watch. Then the next row, we have Dave Nestor in the number 5 Cheez-It machine on the inside, and then the number 37 of Steve McLean.
And starting 15th is the dark horse of the night, I think, is Eric Kepfier in the number 63 won Ford this season for Spectrum Racing, as well as Caleb DeSorda starting 16th.
Then on the next row, very exciting performance from the number 4 car in his heat, and that is Jake Miller starting on the inside. And then on his outside, you have the number 36 of Brandon Berkowski.
Josh Cottle and Brandon Barkowski will file 19th and 20th.
Oh, I skipped Chuck.
Yeah, old Chuck starts 18th.
Chuck Klein again. Is that how you pronounce his name?
That's what I'm going with, yep.
Yeah. And we're about to go green here in a little less than half a lap as the pace car pulls into turn 3. Matt Daniels, I expect a lot out of him. A lot of aggression last week, but a lot of speed in that number 25 Walmart Toyota.
Quick reminder that we do have a lot of guys racing for points tonight, but we have a few guys here just for the win, running for points in the Cup Series. People like RJ Williams, Josh Cottle, Brandon Barkuski, Jacob Hayes, Kyle Hall, Ashton Lawson. I believe that's all of them, actually. Just here for the win. We'll see how aggressive those guys want to be at the start.
And the pace car pulls off. And Matt Daniels in the number 25 is going to start the season out front as they take the green flag here in Daytona.
Someone did not get a good start. I think it was Eric Kemp, jacked up Jake Miller, and that jacked up a little bit of the back of the field. It all worked out, though. Barbara Gelada just tried to throw a move right in front of Caleb Disorda, made it work eventually, but really trying to get to the bottom. You can see a lot of these guys trying to get to the bottom. It looks like they're going to do that to drop back. You got Gavin and Barb on the inside, dropping to the end of this group here.
We're not even a half a lap in. Mr. Excitement already getting exciting, but he's going to go to the back in that number 27 as they're still battling up front. Matt Daniels on the inside, and it looks like we got Roll Tide up high with DJ Stagner.
Yeah, DJ is definitely known for his super speedway skill as well. I'm excited to see what he can do tonight. He's got Connor Holden right behind him. Connor was obviously really fast in his heat. We'll see what these guys can do, but so far the top four have remained exactly how they started. I believe the top six have pretty much remained the same. And then you've got Cole Bradley up there filing up to about 7th.
17 is Samuel Hoff, and the 64 almost got together coming off of turn 2. Like Samuel Hoff was trying to jump to the high side in front of him, and there just wasn't space as they come down now into turn 3 as they're still battling it out for the race lead.
Yeah, Sam and Matt were teammates, I believe, last season. They are not teammates this season. I thought Sam would just stick to Matt, but it looks like he wants that lead. Unfortunately, now he's going to get mired back on the bottom lane, and the outside is way more organized than the inside is, and that's probably not good news for Sam and Matt right now.
And DJ Stagner able to get that level lap for the day. And then number 64 as they're still battling hard for the race lead as Matt Daniels has an edge coming into turns 1 and 2. They've singled out near the back of this pack. Pretty clean racing back there, but this top 10, 12 car is battling it out hard.
Yeah, singling off probably for the better. It doesn't look like Benda can really get up to Sam. If he can get there, I think those three on the inside can maintain ground. But it just looks like the outside lane gets such a run off the corner. We'll see if DJ goes to the bottom here.
And that high side a little too spread out, and that 25 and 17 so close together that Matt Daniels are going to get a big push coming out of the turn. And he's going to be a race leader coming into the tri-oval, but the 64 going to get a big run coming down the line.
These guys are thousands away from each other as they cross the start-finish line. If we get a finish like that, we're going to be in for a good show tonight. But right now, these guys just can't really seem to figure out what they want to do. They're all just kind of running in their lanes. There's about 8, 9 of them up here in this pack until you get about single file back. I believe that's Matthew Durr back in about 9th and Ross Brockman in 10th. But Steve McLean is now up here at the back of this pack, and I know that he wants a little bit of vengeance from getting wrecked out in that heat.
He was real fast in his heat. I thought he had a great shot at winning that last heat, but here he is now up here in the top 10, battling it out with these guys. You see a lot of separation back there with those guys in the back, just trying to keep their cars clean for 65 laps.
Don't look now. You've got Aiden DuPont now closing the gap to this pack up here. So you've got your guys that want to run up the front. They're saying, I'm here. I'm going to run up in the top 10 all night. I'm not going to go anywhere else. And then it seems like everybody back about 11th on back is single filed out, and they're comfortable to be where they are. They realize it's a 65 lap race. They're not trying to go anywhere. They're just going to run it out and wait for the first caution, wait for the first pit stop, and see what that brings them.
One of these guys up front is most likely going to get the points for most led laps the way this race is going. Matt Daniels, and then the number 64 of DJ Stagner just battling it out up front. No one seems to be trying to make a move past either of them as well, just chilling right behind them. Nice Sunday drive here in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, it looks like DJ keeps getting clear, but I think he really likes Connor behind him, and I think they like the outside lane. And all this is doing, like the smart thing that DJ is doing right now is he's holding up that outside. Nobody can, if he goes to the outside prevails and continues to come across. What he's doing is essentially managing the lane so that nobody can go anywhere, so that everybody just sits where they are. And that's why these guys haven't changed positions. Nobody's going anywhere. Nobody has an advantage. The outside is the only lane that can get the advantage right now until they get a little bit disorganized and the inside gets more organized. But both of these lanes are both slightly disorganized to the point that neither of them can really gain an advantage, and they're all just going to run side by side until these other guys start to catch up, or until one of these other guys get up here and mix it up like Aiden DuPont or Steve McLean. I'm waiting to see if they want to try to go 3 wide and shove it up the middle, because the runs that you get here are massive, and they can do that.
I just love super speedway racing. It just brings in so many different aspects. And we might even, if this race stays green, we could even get some sort of pit strategy thrown in there.
Yeah, the biggest thing with this league is they set the fuel to, I think it's 50% on super speedways. So we will see a bunch of pit stops tonight if it just continues on green, because you're going to need to pit at least a few times. It was similar to the Cup Series where we had about 4 pit stops in a 100-lap race. So we'll see a good amount of pit stops here tonight if it continues green. And honestly, all that does is hurt these guys at the front. The guys at the back are now able to like save fuel and relax and potentially get a few extra laps out of it. So that pit strategy could be very, very key as we get to the halfway point of this race, to see where everybody kind of files out and see if maybe there's any way you can do one less stop than other drivers.
Yeah, for sure, because the 25 and the 64 are using a lot more fuel right now, but we're going to send it out for your first crank it up of the season. Turn it up. All right, welcome back. You heard some engine noises for a little while, and you saw some action on your screen. It looked like it was the 60 car of Gabriel Truesdale got up into the wall a couple of laps ago while you guys were on that crank it up. But other than that, nothing's really changed. As your race leader, is still the number 25 of Matt Daniels. His truck looked like it has some great value, doesn't it, Elliott?
Yeah, that Walmart truck is definitely making it work. The outside's working. I think they need the inside to be a little bit more organized, but I'm impressed with what the inside line can do. I feel like from the heats we saw, the outside was really dominant, and I'm not sure if it's just because DJ refuses to leave the outside that it's just not, really gaining the momentum that we saw in the heats, or if the inside line just has that many trucks that it's more beneficial for them. But definitely looks like the inside line can hold its own here tonight, so it's providing some great side-by-side action, which I don't think anybody that's viewing minds whatsoever.
To me, the difference is between that low line and the high line is Samuel Hoff. Samuel Hoff, a very good pusher. Nothing against Connor Holden. He's a very good pusher as well, but Samuel Hoff gets a little more aggressive with his pushes. Sometimes it's a risk, sometimes it's a reward. Samuel Hoff has done a good job of that.
Yeah, the other thing I've noticed is these guys on the bottom keep coming up. You can see the 17 and 94. They're running like a half a lane off the yellow line, and that's not bad, but you know, there's a little bit of side draft from these trucks, just enough to where those guys that are on the outside, if they pinch down, they are slowing that inside line down, and you see it there as Connor and DJ Stagner are both clear down the backstretch. They just refuse to leave that outside lane. Matt's going to get back to the inside, but it looks like they're going to hold that outside, and they refuse to leave it. They're quite comfortable out there. It looks like they're both hooked to each other, and it looks like they're bound to work together here.
These guys are coming up really fast on the lap car of Christopher Huerta, who's currently running the bottom. He was told to go to the top by Samuel Hoff over the radio, but he's currently still running the bottom lane, coming through 1 and 2, around 2 seconds in front of the leaders. And here comes our race leaders coming down the backstretch. Samuel Hoff on the second guy on the inside, pushing Matt Daniels. Here they come on the lap car, who's still at the very bottom. The guys on the radio aren't too happy with him. He doesn't have to technically move.
He goes to the apron. Good move. He's actually going to hit pit road here.
And our leaders zoom by the 88 as he pulls down pit road. The 25 and the 64 still out front here in Daytona Beach. Everyone behind them kind of has putting, if you look in the back, everyone's kind of putting a couple car lengths in between each other, just keeping safe distance, social distancing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we thought all the COVID stuff was over, but it seems that a lot of guys in the back didn't get the memo quite yet. I think what they're doing back there, just like what I've noticed actually, is DJ, Connor, and Curtis are either alliance teams or teammates straight up. DJ and Curtis are both part of Granger Racing Team, and Connor, I believe, is on the alliance team. So that's why they're going to stick together, and it makes plenty of sense now. I think what the other guys at the back are trying to do is align with each other so that when pit stops do come, they're not, you know, trying to shuffle in and out of the line to get where they need to be. They can just all pit right together, not run each other over, know who they're pitting with, and make a nice clean pit stop and have draft partners at the end. So that's the other thing that we're going to need to see this front pack work out when they get to that point. And when they get there, you'll definitely know it, because those guys will immediately try to get to the bottom.
Pit stop's going to probably come up here soon as we're on lap 15. I'm expecting these guys to come in before lap 20-25. Not 100% certain on the current fuel window, but we'll find that out here soon. As the number 25, Matt Daniels, starts lap number 16. Seems to be calming down a little bit, as now it's only 8 cars neck and neck.
Yeah, the
instead
outside
of the prior
lost,
15 or 16.
The outside lost a lot of momentum there, but then they gained it all back down the front stretch. That was pretty insane to see. I just feel like the inside is either they're all trying to like save a little bit of fuel, or they're just really not going. They're trying to stay off of each other, because it looks like even when Curtis is that far off, like you can see Sam is pushing Matt Daniels, and they're just barely keeping ground with Connor and DJ. And Connor hasn't really been pushing DJ. He's been there, but he's not physically pushing him all the way around the track like Sam seems to have to do with Matt to keep the edge.
Highland has a lot of speed coming off these corners. A lot of straightaway speed for the high line, as that will probably play a huge factor at the end of this race.
Another interesting point here, we've got Adolfo up in the front pack here. He's made his way up. I believe he started out towards the back. That's Adolfo Delgado in the 48 truck. And then right behind him is Aiden DuPont, and then Lewis Woodall is in the picture. So a lot of these guys have just kind of made their way up, and they are here. Not to mention Gabriel Truesdale. Remember, he had a great qualifying effort. I believe he was in one of the wrecks in the heat. He's now up here right around the top 10. So a lot of these guys just biding their time, getting up towards the front. You can see Steve McLean's drop back, Caleb DeSorda's drop back. Those guys were all up here, Ross Brockman. But this top 10 is basically, they again, like I said at the beginning, they are here and they are not moving, and they're here to be in the top 10 all night.
Yeah, I was just mentioning Gabriel Truesdale a couple laps ago during our Crank It Up segment. It looked like he had smacked the wall and you can see the damage on the right side of his Peanuts Chevrolet, and he has driven his truck back up here to compete with these guys as he's in the 12th position. Still very early on in this race, but it looks like that truck can keep up easily, even with that right side and slight right rear damage.
Yeah, they did release a new damage model for these trucks. I believe it just doesn't have the same effect that it had previously. It seems to be a lot less drag effective is what the previous damage model was. So even with a little bit of damage, you're not completely out of it. Whereas previously, if you even went up and caught the wall, you pretty much had no speed left in the truck. So it's interesting to see that now, and we'll have to just keep an eye on it and see how well that truck runs as we have a yellow.
And there's a caution out on the speedway here on lap number 19. Not sure for the reason of the current caution flag, as these cars are slowing down now on the back stretch. Oh, and there's a car stopped, it looks like, in 1 and 2.
Can't quite make out who that is. See
The
Brian Mayhew is
93
slow.
of Brandon Nafal. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but Brandon in the number 93 Ford looks to have crashed it in 1 and 2. Not sure yet of the reasoning of the incident.
Oh, Brian Mayhew was in it very much. Like I said, I saw he had some damage. I'm not really sure what transpired back there. It just looks like a lot of them just kind of all got together, and there's about
Oh, it
4 or
looks
5
like
trucks with damage.
to me the 97 just looked like to me kind of either turned up or netcode turned him up, and Mayhew got the worst end of that.
Oh yeah, it looks like Duclos came up across Michael Levine's nose there, and that was all she wrote for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, I'm looking at it again. It really looks like the card in the middle just got a little too close to the 97, and he just the whole netcode thing just took him right, just turned him right into Mayhew, and Mayhew was done after that.
It does make you wonder what they're racing so hard for back there with pit stops approaching, and just with how calm everybody else was running. We thought they were all single file, and then we get back here and these guys are all kind of 3 wide racing pretty aggressively. And I can't tell if Levine and Duclos netcoded or what that really was, but man, that absolutely killed Michael Levine, killed Brian Mayhew, and ruined a lot of trucks right here.
The race leaders have now pulled on to pit road. Matt Daniels is going to lead them down. We had a lot of issues the other day with people overshooting their pit boxes and making mistakes in pit road. Hopefully, we'll see everything come out this time okay.
As he said that, I believe Aiden DuPont did that potentially. I think Gavin did as well.
Like Chuck Klein again either missed his box or didn't take any tires, because he's out first, way out in front of DJ Stagner.
Aiden DuPont definitely missed his box a bit. I don't think Chuck ever pitted. Chuck never pitted. He drove through. I believe he just couldn't find his box there.
Yeah, because he came out way out in front of DJ.
Yep,
He's
everybody
currently
else
scored as your race leader. Trent Curtis looking to get possibly the wave around as he is sitting in front, right behind the pace car in the number 51. DJ Stagner is your race leader out of the drivers that came down pit road. And Samuel Hoff in second, Connor Holden, Matt Daniels, and Curtis Granger, the first 5 out.
How about this race for Samuel Hoff? That's a good run for him, running second. He's had some bad luck here and there within the last season or two, and to see him running top 5 right now is really nice. Interesting call by Matt Daniels. He's going to come back down pit road here. The only guy to do that.
Maybe some sort of fuel strategy. Maybe he's thinking if he comes in this time, he might have that one lap that he might need. Could be big for later on in the race.
Yeah, again, to the viewers, unfortunately, we don't know the exact fuel distance here because of the fact that they run 50% fuel. So we don't know how far these guys can go. So maybe Matt is realizing that he could stretch it from here because nobody looked interested in needing to pit at that point. And we were about 20 laps into a run. So that tells me they can probably go at least 25 or so, which you're still going to be a little bit short from here, obviously, but if they can go any further and potentially get close to that 65 by saving, even if there's other cautions and stuff, because obviously tires don't matter. You can save a lot under caution without pitting. So we'll see what that means, but interesting to see Matt Daniels come back down here after putting on a really nice clinic up front, running either first or second for the good majority there. I don't know how he feels about dropping to the back of the field here, but that's where he'll be restarting, and we'll see if he can work his way back up or if he pulls a different strategy here.
Okay, so I would like to also point out, I think if I'm reading this comment correctly in the comments, it looks like Jordan Gonzalez, driver the number 3, didn't, from that incident on the backstretch, didn't have too much damage. Only 12 seconds of optional, from what I'm reading from Christopher Heller. Hey, Chris. And the pace car pulls off at turn 4. DJ Stagner in the 64 is going to lead him down to the green flag, but this time he's down on the inside, and Sam Hoff is on his outside as the pace car pulls off, and the green flag waves here in Daytona.
Curtis does not get a good start on that outside lane. That's going to absolutely kill Sam. Connor and DJ are set. Lewis wants to go to the top, but now Curtis has the push. They're going to be 3 wide going into turn 1.
3 wide early on this run as the number 64 of DJ Stagner sees all of this in his mirror. The number 07 all by himself up there. No one wants to work with him.
Finally comes back down, gets behind the 13. A bit of a side note, I believe what happened under that caution with Matt Daniels pitting, all the 2511 trucks are now sitting at the back of the field, all 4 of them. So I think that was a strategy call together as a conglomerate there to get all of those guys to the back of the field and potentially work their way back up. But I can already see that Matt Daniels is making his way by Shane Neiswanger, so potentially that's already back out the window, and Matt wants to get back up in this main pack.
And Samuel Hoff takes the lead for the first time. As you're speaking of those 2511 cars, it sounds like they might be scheming in the back.
Definitely the time to start trying it early on in the race. But again, kudos to Sam Hoff. He made that work with the push from Lewis Woodall. And now he holds the lead, and we'll see if Lewis can get to the outside with Curtis. Curtis doesn't look like he really wants to push, and I'm not sure if that's because his 2 teammates are down below, so he's just trying to hold up that pack. You see DJ go to the top there? I believe that's a strategy call as well on the teams. They want to try to stay together, Curtis and DJ here. So we'll see if they can push Lewis out around Sam and then just hold that outside lane like they were doing earlier.
And DJ Stagner jumps right in front of his teammate. Their other teammate of Connor Holden right down below. Maybe see if they'll try to let him up as well. And it looks like they're trying to split the number 13 of Lewis as DJ Stagner looked to have peaked high coming out of the tri-oval.
DJ's trying to roll Tide all the way around that Pepsi machine, but it's not going to work yet. He's going to push him down the backstretch. If he can get Lewis clear and Lewis goes to the bottom, he'll go to the outside anyway. He'll force Lewis to the bottom, and that's what DJ wants. Now he's got Curtis in tow, and they can manage that outside lane again.
Teammates up high. DJ Stagner now is the leader once again on the high side as the number 13 of Lewis Woodall leads the field. Samuel Hoff pushing hard from behind. Samuel Hoff has been in that position all day. The second guy lined up on the inside.
Yeah, I expected him to jump out through the tri-oval there, but it looks like he's committed now. DJ's going to get back to his outside, and we'll see if DJ and Curtis can mount a run down the backstretch. Again, it just doesn't look like Curtis has the desire to push DJ. I don't know if it's just because he doesn't want to be this aggressive this early on and potentially ruin their race with a bad bump. You're going to see Sam go to the outside. He'll take that push from DJ. DJ has no fear in pushing. Connor and DJ are 2 very talented guys up here, so we'll see who can get the edge now with Connor on the inside and DJ on the outside. Pushing the 2 leaders.
And Samuel Hoff getting pushed for once. He's trying to lead the race up there on the high side. Lewis Whittle looks like he's going to lead this time by DJ Sagner pushing Samuel off very hard, though, through the tri-oval, and he's going to lead the lap.
Lewis got it, and I think DJ, Connor, and Curtis all got what they wanted. Curtis was able to back off and get Connor up. Now Connor can push DJ, and we're right back to where we were before the yellow came out. Those guys are going to own the outside lane, and it's going to be up to Sam Lewis and Justin Benda on the bottom to try to make something happen.
And those teammates working really well together. It looks like their plans have finally came together as they're reunited, and it feels so good.
Not to mention, I don't know if you've seen the intensity of the pack overall, but we're not single file anywhere. We are double file all the way through this pack. They are definitely realizing we're coming up to halfway. They want to try to position themselves. We've got guys like RJ Williams, Eric Kep, Aiden DuPont. These guys that have been running 10th, 15th, 20th all night, starting to get up towards the front and starting to look at that front pack like something they want to get into.
Seems to me that caution really threw a monkey wrench into this race, as these guys might be setting themselves up for the last pit stop of the race. So I'm thinking we're only going to get maybe one more stop, and then they should be good the rest of the way.
Yeah, you can see a lot of shuffling down the backstretch. You can see Adolfo went back to the inside. Gabriel went to the outside. That's a little bit of a swap back there, about 12th, 13th spot. And these top 10, top 12 are all very, very on top of each other. They're a little bit more organized than we saw them earlier, but there's a lot more of them to be that way. So we'll see exactly how they go. And as I said, the double file racing, literally a lap later, we're all single file towards the back. So maybe they're just, again, still biding their time. They see that there's a lot more guys up here racing for the lead, a lot more aggression going on. Maybe those guys that are running about 15th or so are going to bide their time again, wait it out just like the last caution.
A lot of racing left, which means a lot of time to wreck still. So take your time. That's what I would be doing. I'd be one of those guys in the back just taking their time, waiting for that last pit stop to come among us, and then hit the gas.
Yeah, Justin Benda seems like the loose kink here, honestly. He's able to get close down the straightaway, but it looks like in the corner he's like coming up off the bottom. We got Gabriel Truesdale back in the wall again back there. I don't know that 2 hits against the wall are going to help that truck out, but it was still fast before, so we'll have to see if he can get back up towards the front as other guys try to cycle around him. But if Justin could get to the back of Lewis and stay there, I think that inside could be a lot more competitive than what it is. But it looks like Justin and Aiden DuPont as well, I don't know if they're just chilling. They don't want to not be aggressive or anything. They just want to sit there and let it work itself out. But them not pushing is really hurting this bottom lane. And you can see Benda is like 2 car lengths back off of the 13, and it's just not helping them at all.
Yeah, Benda and DuPont, I think they're just buying their time, not trying to wreck the car, but at the same time they want to stay part of this lead pack in case something does go down.
You know, we've got Matt Daniels, we got Ty Smith back up here. Ty Smith obviously wrecked in that heat race, so this is the first time we're saying his name all night, but Matt Daniels right at the end of this pack. He's now interested in getting back into it. We've got a lap truck that we're catching down the middle of the backstretch here.
Yeah, Brandon, who got involved in that last caution flag, they're approaching him pretty quick. And then number 93, and it looks like he's going to go up towards the wall for these guys. Going to give him plenty of room, and they're going to slide on by, it looks like. Oh, Lewis looked to get a little loose coming out of turn 4 there in the number 13 Pepsi machine, as they're still battling hard up here in the top 10, as they have been all day long. The top 10 has just been complete craziness since the drop of the green flag.
Brian Mayhew re-entering the track after being on pit road. Fix some of that damage that he had from that wreck. Bendo's back up there now. We'll see what that does. You can see he's got about the same gap that Curtis does to Connor Holden there, so maybe these guys will tighten up a little bit more and that inside line will start moving. Because I've noticed that Curtis, I've been saying it all night, that Curtis hasn't really been pushing either, but Steve McLean has also been up there and he's been leaving about a half a car length. I just think those guys are, just biding their time. They're waiting it out, and they're just going to let these guys up in the top 4 or 5 spots really push each other.
A lot of lane switching going on at the back of this pack. A lot of lane switching from Adolfo Delgado and Matt Daniels, who's led a lot of this race. I know that 25 Walmart machine is trying to get back to the front.
Well, I know Matt, and Matt isn't the most aggressive guy out there, but to get back up through this horde, you're going to have to split him 3 and try to make some moves. So we'll see what he can do. But right now, sitting on that outside line, he's in the best spot. He just needs to try to find a hole that he can shove his nose into between Ross Brockman and Aiden DuPont and Ty Smith and those guys that are sitting towards the back of that pack there.
No changes at the front. Samuel Hoff still leading the inside, and DJ Stagner still up top on the outside as he's been for the last 30-something laps. And we're going to send it out for one more crank it up for you guys as these guys are all ganged up. Want to get them engine noises revving. And we're back here in Daytona. As you saw the action there on the screen, not too many changes, a couple close calls. It looked like from the 94 coming through the tri-oval in turns 1 and 2, but he's able to gather it as these guys keep it straight for now as they're on lap number 36 of 65, approaching lap 37. 94 gets a little loose off turn 4 there, but everybody keeps it going as the top 10 are still neck and neck, and everybody on back is in a straight line, as straight as it comes.
Yeah, it looks like these guys at the front are just being a little bit more aggressive now. They're starting to pick up the pace. You can see some of these guys have laid off each other's bumpers. Aiden DuPont's dropped back a little bit. We've got lap trucks in front of the field that are still coming off pit road with damage. But this outside line's been pinching a little bit more, and I think the inside line's not really accustomed to it. One thing to point out, towards the back of this pack, you have a couple teammates stacked up with Jake Miller and Shane Nicelonger, and they're following Kyle Hall, who's the Cup Series affiliate with Split Second Esports. So these guys have caught the field. Cole Bradley's right there. Jake and Cole are pretty good friends. So there's a lot of guys starting to make their way back up here, albeit all single file right behind the group. But they're starting to make their way up here and realize that they might need to get up here and start racing under green instead of waiting for another yellow.
And it looks like the DJ Stagner almost got turned for the lead not too long ago while we were talking about that. But he's able to keep it going and still leads the high side in front of his two teammates. But as you were saying about Jake Miller, I saw him in his heat race, and he had a lot of speed. A lot of speed. I don't know too much about Jake Miller, but he had a lot of speed in his heat race. And Kyle Hall is a huge threat on these super speedways. If you're going to choose anybody to work with, I think that's the guy you want.
Yeah, we know those two trucks were fast in their heats, and we know Kyle's a great pusher. He's leading that group right now, and Jake is a two-time runner-up in the points, season 2 and season 3 runner-up to the championship in the truck series. So he's going for that season 4 championship this season, and this is a great point to kick it off. And he's running pretty well tonight, just taking his time and making sure the truck stays clean. Ty Smith down on the apron. These guys are all jostling around a little bit and getting a little bit racy. I can't tell if they just don't like where they are or what they're doing, but this pack is definitely organized. They're together, and they're definitely trying to make up spots.
I think Ty Smith just got freaked out for a second there and just wanted to see what was going out in front of him. As it's so hard to see when you're right up next to somebody's bumper. It's so hard to see what's going on in front of you.
Yeah, Ty's a very well-known super speedway guy in the league, and he's very aware of what's going on at these tracks. He can race you very close, and he knows how to draft very well. So probably just a little bit of awareness from his point. But man, Connor is pushing DJ Stagner, and I think he has to because he's not getting help from Curtis. The inside's having to do the same thing, but you can see Connor's having to duck out, get some air to the truck because he's having to push him so much. I just got to wonder if maybe like Curtis could get to the back of them a little bit more and help them out, because the inside lane it just has way more trucks and it's way more organized. It makes it hard for those outside guys to make up any ground.
And the inside line's working really well right now. Working the best I've seen it work all day long. As you're pointing out, Connor Holden jumping out, maybe trying to get some clean air to that nose. He's been following DJ Stagner for almost the last 15 laps. He's been right on his bumper the whole time.
A couple guys call out pit stops. Gavin, Eric, Josh Cottle. Looks like a lot of the Spectrum drivers, Daniel Nanny included in that bunch. We'll see what that comes out to be. But it looks like this might be the point to pit with about 25 to go. I'm just not sure if they can make it from here. Stagner finally leaves the outside, but he's going to get shoved down the middle. Oh, Sam gets turned.
The leaders are all around. The whole front pack is gone, including Aiden DuPont. All the teammates are gone. Ty Smith. Oh, Major Mellon is destroyed. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely unbelievable.
And the number 13 of Lewis just saw all this happen in his rear view, basically, and he got out of this clean in that Pepsi machine. Number 13 is the lucky number this time around.
Wow, I can't tell if Sam got net coated or if he just came up the track. I mean, Ty Smith went airborne, Kyle Larson style, into the outside catch fence. That was a nasty wreck right there.
And your old car is going backwards on pit road, blown up currently.
Steve McLean is hurt. He's killed. He was the one that sent Ty Smith into the catch fence. Justin Benda is killed. Aiden DuPont. We'd need a graphic about four screens large to include the names that were in that one. That was the whole front of the field. It just really looks like Sam came up off the bottom. DJ wasn't really, he was trying to leave as much room to either side as possible, and Sam they kind of net coded. I don't think it was either one of their faults, but Sam definitely came up off the bottom just a wee bit, enough to maybe netcode him into DJ. But he definitely got pulled up into DJ. They wouldn't have made contact otherwise.
Yeah, looking at that accident, it looked like Sam just came up a little bit and the netcode finished the job. And the 56, what a save from Kevin Watler, by the way. One of the only two members from that front group of guys to make it through there.
Great job by Jake Miller, make his way around there. That'll help his title hopes with a lot of these guys being taken out.
We're gonna get an onboard view from Delgado here as he goes through that accident. Craziness, I couldn't imagine. Looks like he might have barely touched the 07, but other than that, looked like he kept it pretty clean at the beginning of that accident.
It looks like that whole group of Kyle Hall, Shane Neiswanger, Jake Miller all kind of made it out alive. I'm trying to look back at Chuck Kleinhagen. And unfortunately, I think a lot of guys just didn't hold brakes there, and he was roped in when Sam's truck came across the track, as well as I believe that's Ty Smith, or it's Ty Smith that he ran into. So I think there was a big issue with guys not really holding brake pedals there and coming back across that apron. You can see the 37 going backwards, and just a lot of awkwardness after the yellow had already basically happened.
So the three cars that have really led every lap of this race, Matt Daniels, Samuel Hobb, DJ Stagner, they're all out, basically. They're all very heavily damaged in that accident. Now, who is the guy to beat with the guys we have left? Because the guys we have left haven't even been in the top 10 all day. The whole top 10 just wrecked out.
So DJ is coming down pit road now. I'm assuming he did that just so that he could try to get as many positions out of those wrecked trucks as possible, knowing that he's going for a championship this season. So that'll put him wherever he ends up. It looks like there's about 20 trucks left running on the track, which isn't too bad.
And
Definitely seen worse.
Duclos, who barely got through that access you just saw from the onboard cameras, now your race leader and the number 97. And then on the outside, you have RJ Williams, who's very good at these super speedway races.
Man, look at the, so your top 6 here is a who's who of the Great Lakes Truck Series. RJ didn't run very much last season. He ran a lot of cup stuff. But Aaron Duclos, Gavin Fitzgerald, Ashton Lawson, Eric Kep, William Barbagelato, Matthew Durr back there, like all these guys have run season 3, and seeing them up here is pretty cool. You've even got Josh Caudill back there. But something to note here is you've got RJ, Ashton, Josh all up here. Those guys are cup guys. They don't care about these points. They are here for that win. So we'll see how aggressive they want to be. But the big thing to note is that outside lane with RJ, Gavin, Barbagelato, they're all teammates, not to mention the 63. So I believe the 24 is also a teammate of theirs. So there's a lot of guys up here all against Duclos that could effectively make their way around a lot of these guys. And the only teammate Duclos has is the 41 back there, and I believe Nanny back there in about 8th or 9th.
My eyes are glued to row number 3. Eric Kef and William on the same row. Those guys are tough on these super speedways as the pace car pulls off. We're going to get the green flag. Duclos gets off to a great restart. And he's an all clear RJ Williams coming out of the trial. RJ Williams posing right behind him.
Yeah, I don't know. Duclos got a good jump. I don't know how well that's going to help him, though. RJ ends up staying on the bottom. I thought he was going to go to the outside and get a push from Gavin. Looks like he thinks his best bet's the inside. Gavin has no help on the outside. He's got to wait for Barb and Matthew Durr to get up there.
And Williams coming quick, as you like to call him, Mr. Excitement. And that Interstate Batteries number 27 is pulling up fast on Fitzgerald. And if he gives him a good push, Fitzgerald could be the new leader of this race.
Barb has no fear pushing guys. You just got to see if RJ is going to jump out in front of Gavin here. If Gavin got to his outside, so Barb may be able to push Gavin to the lead.
Duclos still going to hold that inside lane. Gavin Fitzgerald looking to come across the line in first this time by, but it looks like Duclos is going to beat him at the line. Duclos getting a good push from RJ Williams coming into turns 1 and 2. Gavin and Barb working hard on that outside with Matthew Durr right behind him.
We have a bunch of newcomers up here as well. Obviously, most of your top 6, but guys like Jacob Hayes, Josh Caudill, all back here, running about 8th or 9th. So pretty much everybody up here has not been at the front all night. Everybody that was at the front all night has already been taken out. So we've got a whole slew of new guys. Maybe Lewis Woodall's the only guy that can say he's been running up front all night, sitting back there about 8th or 9th.
Yeah, I'd like to just take a quick look at the comments again real quick. We saw the net code, Sam, but you had a great race, man. We appreciate you coming out and putting on a show for everybody.
Yeah, Sam did a great job all night. It just sucks that, Netcode is going to end up ruining his event as well as many others. I mean, we had some great racing amongst DJ Stagner and Connor Holden. I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys do in the future races. Obviously, this isn't the only one this season. There's 21 more races after tonight to decide this championship. As we got Lewis Woodall being aggressive. He's the one up the middle under Jacob Hayes. Shane Nicewanger is going to follow him through. That's for about the 8th spot.
Drivers working hard back there. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure these guys can make it the rest of the way. We have to make it around 25 laps on this stop. They made it around 22 earlier before that caution. It looked like they were pretty comfortable. So I think we're done with the stops today unless we maybe get a caution.
Yeah, it might be tight, but they definitely didn't all come down a second time from what I could tell. So we'll see. There are some guys still sitting at the back as if maybe there is another pit stop or they just expect another caution before this one's over. But guys are making moves. You've got Shane Neiswanger up here. I see him shuffling in and out. Gabriel Truesdale's back up in this lead pack. Barb is not laying off Gavin. I just don't know why the outside's not able to go. I think you finally got someone like RJ Williams up there that, I mean, I say finally, everyone that was up front was pushing really well, but I think RJ just knows how to really push, get air to his truck, and make sure that he's doing it right. As wow, they get really sideways loose through the tri-oval that time, but RJ's been doing a fantastic job keeping Duclos up front.
After smacking the wall for the second time earlier, Truesdale is still sitting with these guys, I'd like to point out, in that bright yellow Peanuts vehicle in the back of this pack. Still keeping up with these guys. Definitely a name to look out for once we get down to the end of this thing.
I'm interested to see what Matthew Durr here does. He's running third on the outside lane, and I mean, he's been up here all night. He just hasn't really been the aggressor at all. But I know Eric Kempf is in the same boat. I mean, there's a lot of guys up here that aren't known as your aggressive types, and then you've got your guys that are aggressive, like William Barbagelato, RJ Williams, Ashton Lawson. So we'll see what they do against each other here, but I'm interested to see what Eric Kempf and Matthew Durr do running up here in this pack.
I'm surprised the outside has not worked well at all since the green flag dropped on this run. Gavin Fitzgerald's still out front up on the high line. Barb right on his bumper. But they haven't really been able to make up any ground. Closest they've been able to get is right next to Duclos, but they haven't been able to jump into the lead quite yet.
I think RJ just has that experience over Barb. You can see Barb has to get completely out from behind Gavin there because I think he's overheating his truck and he really can't do much with it when it's doing that. So I think RJ's very good at getting air to his nose and making sure that he's doing everything right to stay as close to Duclos as he can. Meanwhile, Barb's just struggling to try to stay paired up with Gavin while keeping air to his nose.
Matthew Durr looked to peek a little to the middle coming through the tri-oval. Not sure if he's trying to figure out a way past Barb or just trying to get some air to the nose. As they go flying past Matt Daniels, he was very slow on the high side as he goes another lap down in that number 25 Walmart machine. Aaron Duclos has a huge push from the 21 of RJ Williams coming down the backstretch. RJ looks very strong late in this race. He could be a huge threat to not just push whoever wins, but possibly be the winner himself in that 21 machine, as he's very fast.
One more lap truck. That's Samuel Hoff on the outside. And yeah, disappointing days for him. Matthew Daniels, Ty Smith, Connor Holden have both left the server. All the guys that were running, top 5 all night long ended up in that wreck. And with no fast repairs, there's not much you can do, but that is Daytona in a nutshell. That's super speedway racing. You just, there's guys that sit at the back and guys that don't. And sometimes those guys that sit at the back end up making their way up towards the front. RJ's pushing Duclos really hard. You can see it out of Eric Kemp's front end. But man, Barb made the outside work now. They're there. Gavin is to the lead.
Gavin finally has his nose up front a little bit with Barb right on his bumper. They got some more guys up there helping him out. Gavin looking to take over the lead.
I think it's taken Barb some laps, but I think he's finally worked it out. He realizes how far off the 14 he needs to be to clear his nose off and get some air to it, and then when he can make a push and how long he can push for, because these things will overheat relatively quickly. In about a lap or so, it's similar to, I believe, the Xfinity cars. It may be a little bit longer, but you can't push all the way around in tandem draft like you wish you could, because that is much faster. So Barb's having to manipulate that air and make sure that he can get air to the nose, make sure that he can push Gavin. Wow, Matthew Durr makes a move to the inside, and that's going to break up that outside lane really bad.
Yeah, that high lane slowing down as you see Gavin Fitzgerald falling a little bit back because of Matthew Durr's move to the inside. These guys have 13 laps to go, coming to 12 to go here in Daytona. Things are about to start getting crazy here in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, you got to wonder what those guys running towards the back are thinking. There's still a lot of guys back there like Brandon Barkowski, Kyle Hall, Jake Miller. they're all running back there just waiting it out. But at some point, you got to wonder what point do you start going forward. With 12 to go, I mean, do you really think there's still going to be another wreck? There could be, but if it's on the white flag, it's null and void at that point, and you're going to run where you're running.
Some strategy moves from the guys in the back, just trying to keep their cars safe for the very end of this race as we're getting there. Only 12 to go. Running out of time. Running out of laps here in Daytona. Aaron Duclos, the 97, who's had his fair amount of excitement today after getting involved in that neck code incident, possibly with Brian Mayhew earlier, and then barely getting past that last wreck. Couldn't see anything but smoke, but he continued on, and he's your race leader. He was the race leader of caution, and he's held on to the lead ever since.
Yeah, Duclos has had it out with RJ right behind him. Gavin and Barb just can't really seem to make anything work on that outside. They're there. They had maybe one good push that was like, wow, they actually got it working. And then since then, I mean, they can get dead even with the inside, but they can't seem to clear them how we saw DJ and Connor Holden working it before. The other thing to think about is RJ and Ashton, they're second and third on that inside line. They're, again, not here for points. It'd be interesting to see if maybe RJ tries to shove it 3 wide. Sam's going to go another lap down here. But it'd be interesting to see if RJ tries to go 3 wide and Ashton goes with him, knowing that they're teammates. And then that puts the Defiance guys on the inside because Matt Durr is sitting down there, teammate to Aaron Duclos.
I'd like to point out that some of those guys in the back have really closed down those gaps. Kyle Hall and Jake Miller, who were chilling back a little farther from this pack, have now really driven up, and they're right here at the tail end of this pack behind the number 5 Cheez-It machine.
Yeah, you've also got a driver, Daniel Nanny. He won Talladega in the trucks last season, which propelled him into the playoffs. Barb is looking 3 wide now. I believe he probably overheated a lot there. Needed to get a lot of air to his nose. But Daniel Nanny is known to be a very good super speedway racer. He's also very aggressive. So we'll see what he can do right behind Lewis Woodall there, 4th on the outside line. Shane Neiswanger's back there. Jacob Hayes is a name that we haven't mentioned. Again, Cup driver, not here for anything but a win. And that's all kind of... Oh, they're wrecking.
And there goes the front pack again. And Duclos gets into the wall hard. Big accident. A lot of your front runners, except for maybe Gavin Fitzgerald, gets it out of this clean. Oh my gosh.
I think RJ just kind of bumper hooked with Duclos. And
Jake Miller didn't sound happy on the radio.
It sent him up into Lewis and into Barb, and everybody but Gavin ends up with damage. Maybe Matthew Durr makes it out. Oh, no, he's not unscathed. He hit Barb pretty hard.
And our broadcast partner, Gavin Fitzgerald, gets out of that clean and is your race leader with only a few laps to go here in Daytona.
I don't think there's anybody without damage from this. And I'm now looking back at why Jake's mad. He avoided all of that and got run into the back of by the 12 of Caleb DeSorda. He had all of that avoided, and drivers not checking up in the back just absolutely ruined races for other guys.
This might make for a very interesting post-race, so I recommend every single one of y'all stay after the checkered flag. Jake Miller is very heated in chat at the moment. I don't blame him. He got through that rack perfectly clean and just got flat out rear-ended. We're going to get another look at this accident, it looks like, here. These guys are wrecking. And the 4 car right there just gets rear-ended and thrown into that vehicle, as if you saw it in the background right there. Just got flat out rear-ended. Look for the white number 4 in the middle of your screen, and bam! And that is why he is pissed off, and I don't blame him.
Tell you who survived that is Shane Neiswanger made it through. Daniel Nanny, I think, made it through without damage. Oh, nope, Daniel Nanny got run over by Kyle Hall. Shane Neiswanger made it through without damage. There's definitely a couple guys that are through there that'll give Gavin a bit of a fight here. Jacob Hayes got through with minimal damage.
What did I say about Gabriel Truesdale?
I was going to say, look at the yellow car too.
He's still in the race. I've said this. I said this. Gabriel Truesdale is still in the race.
He has a
The
little bit of
Peanuts
rear
vehicle.
damage from Dave Nestor, but other than that, man, he already had that damage. He'll be good to go.
They're going to have to make a new Peanuts special after this one. It's the Daytona special.
Some guys coming back down just to fill up.
Yeah, Shane Nicewanger might have, as we get a quick look, we're about to get an onboard look with Jake Miller here. And you're going to see him slow down and just get flat out rear-ended. The whole front end just goes into the air for a second there. A lot of power that 12 car really put into that rear ending. The 12 car of Caleb DeSorda, aka your Dogecoin vehicle. Here's Mr. Excitement as he was following Gavin Fitzgerald.
And nothing he could do.
Yeah, exactly, Elliott. Nothing he could do. He didn't even see what was going on. All of a sudden, he was just spinning. Didn't look like he got too much damage from that. It looked like he got less than a lot of people, but still a lot of damage to that vehicle.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how this works with this new damage model. Again, the damage doesn't seem to affect them as bad as it used to. So some of these guys might be able to continue on despite these hard licks that some of them took. Another note here is you've got those 2511 guys all out here, like Brandon Barkowski and I believe Jordan Gonzalez also still has no damage or very minimal damage. There's a few guys that have definitely played through this strategy pretty well. And I think Barkowski's going to line up about 8th now after running. I mean, we haven't mentioned his name pretty much all night. So the one has no nose, but he is in 2nd. So Jacob Hayes is out here in his SK modified, hoping for the best. And the relatively undamaged cars of Gavin Fitzgerald, Shane Nicewanger, Gabriel Truesdale, Jackson Hartman, I believe that is. Oh, sorry, that's Josh Cottle on the 13. Michael Sensi, Brandon Neffel, Brandon Barkowski, and then Ross Bachman back up at the front here. That'll round out your top 10.
Brandon Neffel was spun out in turns 1 and 2 on that original caution, just sitting in the middle of the racetrack, and here he is back in the battle. Every single person up front here has been involved in some sort of incident one way or another today, except for maybe 1st and 3rd. They've kept their cars very clean. Shane Nicewanger and Gavin Fitzgerald have kept their cars very clean, but we still got a couple more laps left, as it looks like we're going to get a green flag with 3 laps to go. Lights are out on the pace cars. They're coming through turns 3 and 4.
We're going green with 5 to go. We are taking lap
5
61.
to go. I was thinking 63 laps, not 65. That is my bad, y'all.
We're going to get a 5-lap stint here. The big question is Jacob Hayes. What does that truck do?
Yeah, I'm very concerned by that one car, especially with my man Truesdale right behind him. I'm hoping Truesdale can get past him. That one car real slow.
He's engine damaged bad. Nowhere to go. Everyone's going to shuffle around him now.
Hopefully this doesn't cause an incident, as that number 1 car is dropping fast on this restart.
Looks like they all make their way around him.
And no one wanted to work with Truesdale, as he got left all by himself down low. Gavin jumps down there and gives up the race lead.
And no one wanted to work with Gavin, it seems, either.
And Shane Nicewanger is all of a sudden your race leader for the first time all day with Michael Sensi. I haven't mentioned his name all day as well. He's up here. And
here's Brandon Barkowski on the outside with Daniel Nanny.
11 Racing's Brandon Barkowski is about to go for the lead in the number 36. Looks very strong there on the outside with some help from the number 50.
And Gavin's going to shuffle up behind Nanny. Those 3 trucks are virtually undamaged. Nanny has a little bit, but the 49, the 36, the 14 are all pretty clean. The 50, the 92, the 11, the 3 all have some damage to them. But you've got Eric Kepf up here as well. He's back in the thick of it. There's about 9 trucks up here that can still win this thing.
Great comeback from that number 3 of Jordan Gonzalez, as he's up here competing with these guys. A lot of battling going on with just a few laps to go. Coming to 3 to go this time around here in Daytona. So they're battling hard. That 36 and the 49 getting very close in the middle of the corner. Beware of netcode. Be very aware of netcode.
Yeah, I don't know how I like that outside line pinching that hard. We know Shane's aggressive. We know Brandon's aggressive. We know Daniel Nanny's aggressive. The 92 is kind of an outlier here. We don't really know what Michael Sensi's going to do. Cole Bradley is a teammate to Brandon Barkowski. Jordan Gonzalez is a teammate to Brandon Barkowski. No one else really has friends. There's a few 2511 trucks up here, but everyone else is kind of on their own. Eric and Gavin are teammates, but there's not a lot of room up here for guys to be making friends. And Nanny goes to the outside of Barkowski.
Here
So
they go.
you can see Gonzalez goes with Barkowski. Those are teammates, but Nanny, no, he
It
didn't
shows
clear
in the
Barkowski. Oh, net
and
code.
50. There's the net code that we were talking about, and the caution will come out with a couple of laps to go. And we're gonna go for it again.
Another netcode incident. I mean, they got really tight. I'm sorry, I've been saying Nanny the whole time. That was Frederick Cremines. I thought that Nanny was in the 50. I believe he's in the 30.
Oh man, Truesdale, my man's. Where'd your engine go, bro?
He got
Bro.
killed when Frederick came back down the track there. But yeah, that was, I believe Cole Bradley came up. Barkowski got shot up a little bit, and netcode sucked Cremines right around.
I had $100 on Truesdale. Sounds like
Jordan
Truesdale is $100.
Gonzalez. Jordan Gonzalez is killed in that one after his comeback night. Ross Brockman, really disappointing end to his night. He actually got netcoded in the group with the 28 and Gavin. Gavin was involved in that. Those guys were all going to miss it, but James Shiflett and Ross Brockman netcoded behind and also made contact.
Kep had nowhere to go. Now this is going to make it real interesting. I don't look like, yeah, Gavin got in the wall, and that actually might have been a blessing, Gavin getting into the wall there. Nope, never mind. I didn't notice him getting involved in the wreck. Never mind.
That was not the most ideal effort.
So we have a lot of destroyed race cars going to try to finish this race. Whoever has the least amount of damage will be your winner.
The only guy playing games up here is Brandon Barkowski. He's the one guy that's not here for points. He doesn't care what happens to anybody's race here. I'm sure he'd love to help out Cole Bradley. That's a teammate. Other than that, I don't think he cares what anybody else ends up doing here. The other thing to note, all these guys in about the top 10 spots are all positive net gains from where they started. Shane Neiswanger being the highest, a plus 32 on the day. This guy started 33rd tonight, and he finds himself running in first. Michael Sensi, about where Shane was, started 29th. The only guys that are running in the top 10 that started up there right now are Cole Bradley, who started 7th. He's running 3rd. And then Ross Brockman, who started 9th, and he's running 8th, but Ross just had a ton of damage, so he's also on pit road. And judging by the pit road we've got right now, we've got 6 guys that are pretty much out here saying they have minimal damage or at least no desire to come down and pit for repairs. Everybody else is showing off the pace damaged from 7th on back. So a lot of positions to be made up if you have minimal damage, but looks like these top 6 are all in it for themselves.
Just like to point out that we do have 3 green-white checkers this evening, and the way tonight has been, we could need them. Even with these 6 cars who have minimal damage up front, just the way this race has been going, the vibe it has, I'm not sure we're done wrecking yet. So some of these guys with a lot of damage, like, they're still in this race. They are still in this race, even with all that damage.
Yeah, we have 3 of them, and we're already using the first one. So we'll see if we have to drop back to the other 2. But as they line up, you've got Shane Neiswanger on the inside, Michael Sensi on the outside, Cole Bradley. Looks like Barkowski's going to be 4th. Adolfo Delgado is up in the top 5 now. So we'll see what any of these guys do. Again, pretty much anybody in top 6, top 7 have a chance. Kyle Hall's back up there, and I believe 7th. I don't see how much damage. He has front-end damage, but it doesn't look terrible. Caleb DeSorda is running a modified, and the 25 is ultimately killed. That's Matt Daniels, but he stayed in it, and He's unfortunately 21st off the lead lap, but staying with it and still on track.
The way this race has been, if we end up getting 3 green white checkers, we might just have John Gerard versus Ricky Bobby on feet.
We're getting there.
This
I
is
mean,
wreck fest.
as far as I can tell, we have 2 clean trucks. I think the 49 and the 36 are the only absolutely undamaged trucks, 100%. I think everybody else has a slight bit of damage done to their trucks. Maybe Michael Sensi is clean, but I thought I saw some side damage on his passenger side. But yeah, all of these trucks have some type of either door, rear, or front damage. Some way worse than others, but we'll see as they come back to the green flag here.
I'm definitely watching that number 48 of Delgado. He seemed pretty aggressive to me so far during this race. I can see him making some moves and maybe getting up to the front as the pace car pulls off for this green-white checkered, and the number 49 is going to lead him down to the green flag. Kyle Hall going to immediately jump onto the lines. He has a lot of damage.
They spun tires, and I guess that really helped Barkowski on the outside. He's going to push Sensi right around Shane, and they're both going to clear him. Barkowski gets down just in front of Shane. So you've got the 2 clean trucks right behind Sensi. I'm not sure if Sensi's clean. Shane immediately dumps Barkowski there. Wow. Oh, they're going to battle hard here. There's not too many of them, but man, they are going to battle really hard with the 4 or 5 of them.
And the 11 of Cole Bradley doesn't have very much damage. A little bit of damage to the right side in the bumper, and he's going to push that number 49, try to get him back up to the lead. Shane Nicewanger looking for the lead in that Keystone Light Toyota. The 92 right on his outside of Michael Sensi is they're going to come off turn 4. Will they make it to the white flag?
That was an interesting move by Cole Bradley. His teammates to the 36, but he went with Shane instead. He probably felt that was his best option. Adolfo now, the 3rd truck on the outside lane. He's damaged, but Brandon has got himself clear again. White flag is in the air. We're pretty much here now.
And Brandon right on Sensi's bumper, looking to make that move, and he's going to get turned. Sensi has the lead. Nicewanger is still going. Here comes the 52 of Brockham. Brockman, the number 52, he might have a shot at the win here, as he might have a run on Sensi coming down the backstretch.
Unbelievable. This is going to turn into a drag race. Brockman doesn't have the speed, though. He's running the same speed as Sensi. He's not going to be able to get there at that speed. He needed Shane to maybe push him, but it looks like Sensi is going to be able to make it here.
And after that crazy incident, the season opener is going to go to the number 92 of Michael Sensi. What a race. The number 52 comes across in second, and number 49 of Shane Nicewanger in that clean until the end 49 comes to third. What a race.
Wow.
Fantastic. And Michael Sensi has locked himself a spot into the playoffs, is what I've heard over the radio. Congratulations to the 92 crew. Is the number 93, his teammate, gives him a bump. Oh, a little voice crack there. Gives him a bump in the middle of the corner. A little congratulatory bump as the fireworks go off here on the backstretch. Awesome. Awesome race. Congratulations to that race team.
Yeah, it looked like there that Brandon just tried to throw a late block that wasn't going to work on Shane, and that was ultimately it.
Brandon's still able to come home in the 5th place position. So nice recovery from the 2511 Racing member, trying to get a win for his race team, but not able to quite get it done here today.
Yeah, it just goes to show how damaged a lot of these other trucks were. With, Brandon being able to finish 5 seconds off the pace in 5th. Dave Nestor comes home 6th, 13 seconds off the pace. So there was really only about 5 trucks left that weren't damaged at the end, and they all got their top 5 out of it. So I guess worst case scenario with that wreck, it's not like they went from 4th to 20th or anything, but I guess I feel Brandon and Shane probably both thought they had a chance at that.
Hard fought until the very end. That was a fantastic race and an amazing finish out of the cars that were still on the racetrack. The number 92 of Sensi doing donuts in the dirt right now over the Daytona logo. Classic. Very happy for him, and he is in the playoffs. We're gonna maybe try to get you some interviews from maybe our top finishers and some other drivers here in Great Lakes Truck Series post race. And here we are. We have Shane Neiswanger, who kept it clean all the way until that last incident, but able to come home with a third place finish. Great race, Shane.
Thanks, guys. It looked disappointing ending, but you know what can you do? It's plate racing, I guess. It happens every time.
Yeah, do you have any
What was
thoughts
your overall
about
strategy?
I don't know. I'll let the replay speak for itself. I don't want to get in too much trouble. I'll just 2 races in a row, same guy.
So what about that restart? Did you feel like maybe you guys got a really bad one and that kind of put you at a disadvantage? Like what happened on that restart there? Because Barkowski and Sensi were able to just drive around you guys on the outside.
Brandon did a hell of a job pushing the guy on the outside, and I didn't get a whole lot of help until maybe the backstretch or whenever. But I mean, I don't know why they got out so far, and then like I got a massive run and got the spot back. But yeah, the whole reason I didn't get going is I didn't get a bump from behind, or at least I didn't feel a push.
We ran a great race, Shane. We're really pulling for you here in the booth here at the end of that race. It was just a damn shame that we couldn't get a race to the line, but still able to pull out the top 3. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, where are we at next week? The road course?
That's what I'm thinking. I think we're at the Daytona road course. How do you feel about your strengths on road racing?
To be honest, I'm terrible at it, but I hope enough guys in front of me wreck, so I have a good point day, but we'll see. I'll practice. Maybe I'll surprise some people.
Sounds like my strategy every road course official race I've ever done.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know how many we got, but hopefully it's not too many this year.
It's a bunch, unfortunately for you. But fortunately
That's
for
tough.
you gained the most positions tonight. Can you explain to us how that felt? Went from 33rd all the way up to 3rd, past 30 trucks throughout the race. How does that feel?
Oh, I mean that feels great. I know during the dual race I was in, my plan was if I was up in the front, I'd stay up there. If I was in the middle, I was dropping to the back. So I believe I finished last out all the cars that made it out of dual 1 because I took it down pit road to start in the back. So that kind of helped.
That's what I was talking about during the heats. That's kind of usually my strategy. I like to hang out in the back at the heats during the race, and when time comes, the time comes. Come to the front. You did a great job at that.
Yeah, I was just going off what I was hearing from Jake was up in the front, and you know, I dropped to the back there early, and me and Michael, we were like the last cars in line, and I didn't realize everybody was going to get single file there that first runner. I might have pushed a little bit sooner than I did, but we were thinking maybe before the first pit stop we could gain a few positions and be closer to Jake and then all work together. And then unfortunately we got that first caution, and then everything just kind of played out from there.
Once again, fantastic race, Shane. A lot of excitement and excited to see you next week. Even if you might be struggling on the road course, it's still going to be good to see you out there and have you competing possibly for a championship this year. Great talking to you.
That's cool. Thanks, guys.
Of course. And here we are with your season opener winner, Michael Sensi in the 92. Great race out there. What was going through your mind on that last lap?
There was no way I was going to cross the start finish line first. That's for sure. I'm still kind of in shock on how everything turned out for us tonight.
Yeah, great race from you, and a lot of luck along the way. You're able to get through 1 and 2 unscathed with everybody in your mirror just kind of disappearing. How was that? How did that feel just to see everybody kind of disappear from your mirror and just have that clean track in front of you?
It was unreal. I knew, there was some really fast guys that were running up front the whole night behind me. So I really did not want to give up that second lane and kind of have that momentum off of turn 4 if we made it that far. But to kind of see that happen behind me, it's unreal. Usually I'm caught up in that little bit of mess here at Daytona, but turn left racing F-150 was a good solid piece tonight, and just happy to get this one over with and come out with a dub.
That was fantastic. And I overheard on the radio, congratulations, you are a playoff driver, I heard.
Yes, sir. Getting ourselves locked in off the first one. That's that's pretty awesome.
Get it done early, man. Now you can start preparing for the playoffs. You don't got to worry about the rest of your regular season. You can start practicing whatever tracks are in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, that's right. But we're not done yet. We're gonna go get ourselves a couple more trophies. That's for sure.
Well, fantastic race, Michael, and we're excited to see you next week. I think we're at the Daytona Road Course. How do you feel about your road racing abilities?
Definitely not the best, but I can hold my own. So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be exciting.
Great race, Michael, and we hope to speak to you again soon. Thanks for talking to us. Go
Thanks.
enjoy that victory, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Of course. I'm going to try to get you a really good interview here, as now we have Jake Miller, who looked super strong in his heat and looked extremely strong all race. And I thought he was going to be a top 5 guy, especially there at the end. And he would have been. What happened there with the 12 in that accident? What happened to the Dogecoin car?
Caleb needs to find the middle pedal or the left pedal, depending if he has a clutch. He's got to learn how to press that down when he sees smoke. That's that was really annoying.
Because the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it looks like Jake's gonna get through it okay." And all of a sudden, this 12 car comes flying in the rear end of the picture and just kind of puts your whole front end in the air, hit you hard, little arc brake right there.
Yeah, I don't know if Nanny was the one next to me, but I hit somebody. I mean, I thought I had it cleared. I was slowed down and yeah, I was almost stopped. And next thing I know, I'm freaking moving at 100 miles an hour at someone's nose. So that's never fun.
I was very disappointed to watch from the booth because there's no doubt you would have been one of those contenders, as there was no clean cars really left on the racetrack. So you definitely would have been one of those top 5 contenders for the win out there tonight. But you're still able to come home with an 11th place finish. Great race, other than, of course, getting rear-ended. Looking forward to next week at the road course. Will you be there next week for the road course?
Yeah, I actually think with this newfound team that Elliott Henderson put together, I really like the addition of Michael Levine. And Michael said he's going to try and show up every week and qualify in. So I think I'm going to do that as well. So yeah, I will be showing up most Tuesdays.
That is awesome. I'll let Elliott speak to you for a little bit. You want to ask your driver some questions, man?
Yeah, I just want to know how you felt with the team and what it felt like, because obviously when you ran the heat, you were running up front. When we started the race, you were running at the back. Did you kind of just stay back there and work with Michael and Shane? I know Shane mentioned that he was working with Michael a little bit. Were you guys just basically going to play out the strategy and wait out the pit stops and see when you could try to make your move? Was that the end goal at the beginning, or did you guys just maybe see something at the beginning that made you not want to go to the front?
Specifically the 60 and the 48 car in the heat races, they kind of scared us a little bit, and they were running towards the front from the very start. And I was always running, 15th, 20th, and I was just trying to give a little gap in between me and the lead pack. But Shane and Michael, they were kind of sitting way back there in the beginning. I was just kind of doing my own thing, and on that first pit run, we were going to pit at like lap 24 or something, and that was talking before the caution obviously happened, and we are going to try and bunch up and get in a group and then all pit together. But yeah, I was just trying to survive, to lap 60 and try and make it beyond that, but unfortunately, we didn't get that to happen.
Yeah, the fortunate thing is you're going to the road course next week. You've got a lot of races to dig back out of this hole. How do you feel about moving forward and trying to get back into the playoffs?
To be honest, I'm not even, I think we're sitting 11th in points, so it's not even that big of a hole. And, obviously I think Hunter Madalinas will probably show up to the road course next week. So, he kicked my butt there. So I'm going to try and put in some real practice for the Daytona road course and hopefully regain my title of winning road courses.
All right, well, we'll definitely see you out there. Tough luck tonight, but you'll definitely be a showstopper in the future races. We know it for sure. Looking forward to seeing what you can do.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that was a fantastic race out there. A lot of action, a fantastic finish. Definitely some heat. A lot of anger out there, and maybe possibly could carry over next week to the road course. We'll have to see. Any notes you have for these guys, Elliott?
And just keep it clean. I won there last season based off of Hunter just making an ill mistake right at the end, but a lot of these guys have stepped up their road course game and they're all pretty fast there. So I'm interested to see what they can do. I'm interested to see what some of the guys that had tough luck here tonight, like Ty Smith, Connor Holden, Sam Hoff, and those guys that may have not had the race that they wanted. William Barbagelada is another one. Ashton Lawson, who I don't know if he'll be running next week, but he's also number one to watch at these road course races. So we'll see what these guys can do. Again, there's 20 something races this season. There's probably about 15 before the playoffs even start. So plenty of opportunities to gain back what you need. You don't need to go into the road course and win it. What you've lost here can be gained over the next 5 to 10 races, not over the next 2 or 3. So we'll see who's patient. We'll see who can get stuff done. And at the end of the day, hopefully the guy in victory lane is the one that ran the cleanest race and made it his own.
Exactly. We got a very long season ahead of us. A lot of opportunities left to get yourself into the playoffs, get yourself into victory lane, whatever you want to do. But one more time, we would like to congratulate Michael Sensi on the victory tonight and on his playoff berth for the Great Lakes Truck Playoffs. And we will see you here next week, same time, same place, but on the road course layout, as we hit the Daytona road course for the second race of the season of the Great Lakes Trucks. And then tune in to this channel on Thursday for the Great Lakes Cup Series as well at the Daytona road course. Have a great night, y'all, and I will see y'all soon. Good night.